You're gonna hear some noise in the background. I will put my headphone thingies on in a minute, but first I want to go in. Let's see if I can do this because y'all know I'm not all that techie. But I want to go ahead and share this in the Facebook group, which if you're not already a part of, please join us in Passive and Hybrid Income for Health Professionals, which is the name of our Facebook group. I will link it below at some point after I'm done chatting with you guys. But I wanted to share this that popped into my head. I've actually been in DMs and PMs. By the way, say hi if you're popping on. I'm gonna have a couple different windows open. Share in a group. I'm narrating what I'm doing. Passive, there we go. Okay, perfect. So, okay, bam, post, good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking to you guys. I'm also making what I call hot chocolate. Which my kids, this is my living room, it's a little bit of a mess. My kids say is not hot chocolate, but it's hot chocolate. So it is cocoa powder and collagen powder. Y'all know about that collagen life. And stevia and mostly water and then a splash of almond milk. Doesn't that sound like hot chocolate? It's hot chocolate. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm making that, but I'm chatting with you guys. But anyway, I've been in the PMs with some of you lovely humans, and I love, having conversations because, I love having conversations with people especially people that haven't started yet. And I've been talking to a lot of people recently that haven't started their haven't started their online business, that have right now like a little side hustle situation. And, and what's interesting is, talking about how long, what methods, how long you've been doing it, what methods you're using, what have you tried so far, what's worked, what hasn't worked. This is stevia, by the way, in case anyone is joining my impromptu cooking show. And all of that jazz, right? And, but what I'm most interested in as I'm going through all of this is like the most ADD Facebook Live I've done maybe ever. Let me just finish narrating this. This is hot water I'm putting in most of it, mostly hot water. I'm gonna mix it so it dissolves, the collagen, the cocoa powder, all that jazz. And then I'm gonna throw a splash of this stuff in, a splash of almond milk, and that's what I call hot chocolate. So I don't know what these kids are talking about. Anyway, what I was saying is, what I love really talking about the most is stories and mindset. Shocker, Sylvie's talking about mindset again. If any of my clients pop on, they're gonna be like, yep, there she goes. The one thing she likes to talk about, mindset. So, but legit, and I've excused the mess in the background. I've just got all my protein powders out and just laying on the counter because impromptu life. The thing that really sparked me the most today, because I was talking to two different people in a very similar scenario, and two different people that probably don't know me and my story very well, people that are new to my world, which is totally cool. Welcome. I love people that are new. But what came with that was, these couple phrases that came up that were like, what should I call it? That were like, well, they're stories. They're stories, right? I'm not going to label what kind of stories, but they're stories. And what I mean by stories, and we all have them, right? We all have them. Stories kind of like mindset things that are playing in our head in a loop, right? Stories that we're committed to, right? Let's just say, let me go out of business for a second. Stories like one that I had forever, which is I'm not creative. I was working in the entertainment industry, and I remember I really loved the production side of things, really loved the systems and streamlining and hiring and all that jazz, shocking, right? But I didn't really love the I didn't really love the creating sets or costume design or makeup design. I wasn't interested in any of that. And so I just made this story. I just chose this story and tried it on and kept it on that was I'm not creative. And I carried that one around with me for years, right? So what I want to ask you then, I'm going to give you an example of this, because you could have a story like that, like the one that I grabbed, right? That I'm not creative. I'm trying to improve the light over here. Let's see if I move a little bit, if I'll be out of the shadows. See, I'm not good at lighting either. That's why I had to leave Hollywood. So, it's a story that you're carrying around right now. It could be the exact same story for two different people, And for one person, the meaning attached to that story, which is even more important than the story itself, could be an empowering one, or the meaning attached to that story could be a disempowering one. The empowering one, not surprisingly, will propel you forward, and the disempowering one will hold you back. And I want to give you a couple of examples of this. And yo, if you're popping on, I see people popping on, but I can't see names right this second. I want you to go ahead and say, hey. I'm also going to share this on my personal profile, so we're going to have people from all over the place. All over the place. Hang on. I'm going to share this real quick. Interlude, so I can share. Facebook changed so many different things. Okay, boom. Okay, so if you're popping on, if I don't see you, it's because there's multiple different screens. You might be coming from multiple different places, but I will come and chat with you later. But I wanted to really discuss this because as I'm in the PMs and a couple of people were saying, hey, I'm a divorced mother of 2 or a divorced mother of 3 or whatever it may be. And that was coming up and I've had this conversation with multiple people. So if you were one of those, don't make assumptions that I'm talking about directly about you, because this has come up more than one time. But, for some people, a situation like that, which you may or may not know, but I am a divorced mother of 3. One is an adult. So depending on the day, you might hear me say 2, because 2 are the ones that are home. But, the reality is those are facts. That's not even a story. That is a fact. And that is a fact for these, few people that I was chatting with. Happened to chat with a couple of people that were in that exact scenario. And it came up during a conversation of what's going on, like, why haven't you done this yet or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that the underlying message under that was I've got a lot going on, or I don't have time, or some combination of both, or I have limited resources or whatever. Now, again, the fact is, divorced mother of 2, divorced mother of 3, whatever it is. Here's the deal, you guys. Like, I am one of the least compassionate people I know. And I say that somewhat jokingly, but the reason I say that, the reason I kind of bring that up is because I've been through a lot. I'm a person that has experienced a lot. I've also experienced a lot of privilege. I've experienced a lot of heartache. I've experienced a lot of difficult situations, and have had to work through a lot of different things. And one of the things that has helped propel me forward and has made the huge difference in the seasons of life where I've made huge strides versus the seasons of life where I've gone backwards has been the stories that I tell myself and the meanings that I attach to those stories. Does that make sense? So in this particular situation, what I was seeing was in 2 different scenarios, one person using that as the reason why they can't do X, Y, and Z versus the reason why they have to. The reason why they should, or the reason why, even though time is limited, of course, because if you've got a full-time job and a whole bunch of kids and you're on your own and you have no help and all that jazz, there are certain things where it's like there are only 24 hours in a day. You might have 1 available hour, whereas someone that is single, no kids, and works part-time has 8. Those are absolute facts. But what's interesting is how many years go by and a person can continue to grab onto this story as the reason why they can't, won't, are unfortunate, or whatever else. So, again, sort of kind of, you're just taking one little sliver, one little example. But the reason I wanted to come chat with you guys, in addition to having you keep me company while I made my hot chocolate, if you missed it, you can see that mess on the replay, is that I wanted you to audit yourself. And if any of my clients pop on, let me know tomorrow on our group calls, because I want to hear about it. I want to hear about what stories or what beliefs are you carrying around right now that might be holding you back? What beliefs and what stories do we need to clean up, right? Like I mentioned, that example of my own where that story of me not being creative when I worked in Hollywood, it definitely popped back up like a game of whack-a-mole when I went to go do my own business. And I was like, well, but writing, I mean, you need to be creative to do that, or having a website that requires creativity, and I'm not creative, right? The story that I'd carried around. So again, I mean, we're not going to go into a whole session on how we can flip stories, but for right now, what I want to do is step 1 with you guys. If you're up for it, if you take this invite, I would love to hear in the comments, is there a certain story right now that is holding you back? Or perhaps, is there a certain story right now that is propelling you forward? Are you looking for evidence of what's working? Are you looking for evidence of why you are qualified? Are you looking for evidence for why it will work? This is a whole other conversation that I had. I had one person in my PMs, and if you're here, girl, and you want to out yourself, go for it. Otherwise,
I'll keep your name anonymous. I've had so many different conversations. I can't keep the name straight anyway. But I had one person who said multiple times in a conversation, I'm skeptical. The word I'm skeptical. And, I can totally appreciate it, right? Because there are so many different things online. There are so many different things coming at you all day, every day. And if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right? And that's partly why our language and our marketing is actually more repelling than anything else. And the reason for that is because I'll be the first to say that there's nothing passive about creating a passive income product, right? Like, it doesn't happen overnight. You roll up your sleeves. There's some serious work involved. We're doing legit products. We're not, packaging and creating, pieces of junk and trying to sell them, etc. So, hate to spoil the party here, but the reality is that there's some work involved, right? For myself, any of my colleagues, or any of my clients that have created a successful passive income product, there was active work involved to create it, active work on the front end, right? So again, that's sort of that skepticism that, I totally can appreciate that. But again, are you taking it as far as you're constantly looking for references, constantly looking for examples on why it won't work? Either why it won't work for you, or why it won't work in general, or looking at, the couple of people that didn't actually follow the model properly and then quit, and looking at that as the reference for failure? Or are you looking for the people? Are you looking at the people and following the people that are doing it successfully and saying, you know what, I'm going to take that as inspo. I'm going to go ahead and take that as inspiration, and I'm going to go ahead and either learn from them or study them or stalk them. You're welcome to stalk me online. Please don't show up at my door, because I don't know what I'll do. I'm from Argentina, y'all. But, go ahead and stalk me online. Do whatever you want to do. Or if it's not our work or my business or my company or my model that resonates with you, find a mentor who does. Find a mentor who's been where you want to, where you want to go, who's doing what you want to do. And for the love of all things holy, at some point, pick one. At some point, pick a model, pick a system, pick a mentor, pick a whatever, pick a road, pick a path, and put your blinders on and follow it. Whether that's us or somebody else, right? You have to pick whatever is right for you. But what I'm seeing a heck of a lot of is just a lot of chicken with no head. Just a lot of running around in a million different directions, no roadmap, Googling for months and months and years sometimes, and talking about someday. Actually, complete tangent, but I'm going to shout out one of my homies. I'll tag him later. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see my little dance stories and what I'm up to dance-wise and in my personal life outside of business. But one of my homies, his name is Brett, I'll tag him. He's a perfect example of someone. Look, I try and coach everyone, you guys. If I see you on the middle of the street, I'll grab you and try and coach you if you'll let me. But he's one of 6 million people I've tried to get to do things over the years that are not my clients, that have not paid me a cent, but that I will, say, you should do this and that. You know how many times I've uttered, you should do this and that? I can't help it. I should stop, because the reality is I don't have permission to coach these people. But he is one of the few people that I can think of in recent, months at least, that has not been a client, that has not been a consenting, paying client, that I have said something to, and that went and executed and did it quickly. He turned that someday I'm going for in this particular case, it was running a dance workshop. I've learned a lot from him dance-wise, very, very skilled bachata dancer. It's a Latin form of dance. And I said, you should run a workshop. And he sort of sat with it for a second and asked some more questions, simmered on it, whatever, and then made it happen. So cut to from when I said that to when he made it happen, it was a few short months. Made it happen. Took that someday and made it, that day. And I was blown away, because the reality is there are no great ideas. Ideas are worth nothing. Execution is the only thing that matters, right? You should run a workshop. That's not a brilliant idea. It's a basic idea. But the execution of it is everything. And of course, he made money, was profitable, was going to do another one, da-da-da-da-da. And that was, it's definitely a fork in the road of his life and in his career path. But the reason I want to bring that up to you guys is because I'm seeing a lot, depending on where you're watching this. If you're watching it in our Facebook group for health professionals, you guys, I'm starting to recognize names that have been around for years. And I love having you. I absolutely love having you. Our Facebook group is free. If you're a health professional and you're not watching this inside the group, I'm going to put the link below so that you can join. But here's what I want to tell you is, at some point, Google is not enough. At some point, if your roadmap that you're winging with no experience is not working, now if it's working, hey, keep doing it. If you found a new method and it is working, I want you to keep doing exactly what you're doing. If you're getting the results, keep doing what you're doing. But for a lot of you, what I'm seeing is by the time you come to us, by the time you raise your hand and say, hey, I need some help, you're already at burnout. You've already spent 15 months, 2 years, 6 months, whatever it is, but a while trying it your way and definitely leaving tons of money on the table. And you know, for a lot of you, spending quite a bit of money in small $200 here, $1,000 there, or whatever, in small spurts along the way, that adds up to quite a bit. So I just, you know, again, this is up to you, right? I'm talking to grown adults. I'm hoping I'm talking to grown adults here. So I'm going to let you be your best advocate, right? If you're skeptical, do your research. If you don't believe it's going to work for you, it probably won't, right? I mean, until you change that belief system, there's really nothing, there's no plan that works without the belief. And we work on that a ton in our programs. That's why I have people smarter than me on my team that help on the beliefs front. We have performance coaches because they're smarter than I am and way more skilled at that part. But what I know for sure is that the strategy without that belief system, I've never seen it work, not one time. So anyway, a little bit rambly. We did an accidental cooking show for 10 seconds at the beginning of this live. If you missed it and you want to laugh, go ahead and watch the top of the live for the replay on that. I would love to hear from you in the comments. So again, if you know you have a story that is propelling you forward, I want to hear it. If you have a story that is holding you back, I want to hear it. If you've been around here for a little bit, you know I love a confession. So please comment below, and I'm going to come back on the 3 different windows that this is at and come say hello and have a chat with you later. And again, if you are a health professional and you're not already in our Facebook group, join it. The link's going to be below. And if you are a health professional, let me know what is it that you need most right now. Is it that you need more clients? Is it that you need more freedom? Is it that you need a system? What is the one thing that you need most right now? Comment below and I will chat with you really, really soon. Bye for now.